What's up, guys? Don't know which polisher machine you need? I'm gonna break down everything you need to know about these polishers and tell you which one is the perfect one for you, so stay tuned. We want a brand new level of shine on our ride. So it's time to break free of those old habits. It's time to get rid of that super scratched up and swirled ride and get yourself a brand new ride by polishing our vehicles. But how are we gonna know which polisher to use, which pad to use, and which compounder polish to use? So today I'm gonna be breaking down all of these polishers right here in front of me so that you guys better understand them and can figure out which one's the best one for you. All right, guys, so our first polisher is the Torq X. So that's this little baby over here. You'll recognize him because he's a lot smaller than the other ones. So the Torq X is great for virtually all professional level detailers and beginners. It's a small machine, which means that it's easy to get into all those hard to reach areas. So if you're working on a vehicle that has a lot of contours or a lot of hard to reach lower areas, having a small, short kind of polisher definitely works out in your favor so that you're not holding a longer polisher and being in a more awkward position when trying to get into those hard to reach areas. So the Torq X does come with your speed dials right here on top. This one's the only one that has the dial settings on top, so you can control your RPMs, or in this case OPMs, because this one's actually an orbital polisher. This machine head oscillates and spins in 2 rotations. So unlike the rotary, which I'll go ahead and get into a little bit more further in the video, this one right here oscillates on 2 axes. So you have the oscillations where it just kind of has that DA motion, and you also have that rotary motion that spins in a cycle. So this is great because you get that double motion, which means that you can use this machine for practically all uses. You can use it to cut scratches and swirls, give your car a deep cut, refine, give it a light polish. You can even use it to apply waxes, glazes, and sealants to your vehicle because of that dual action motion. It kind of massages those products into your paint a lot more smoother than you would by hand, and it does it in the fraction of a time. This right here does come with a 5-inch backing plate, which works out great for practically all uses, whether you have large surfaces or smaller to reach areas. Next in the line, we have our Torq 10FX. So the first thing that you'll realize as far as differences between the Torq X and the 10FX is the size. The 10FX is just a little bit longer, and all that is, it's pretty much more user comfort. So as you guys can see right here, the Torq X has more of just kind of like a area that you can kind of grab onto, whereas the 10FX has a more ergonomic handle right here that you can grasp your hand over, and it also has an ergonomic head, which you can go ahead and grab with your other hand for the ultimate precision when polishing your vehicle. This also utilizes a 5-inch backing plate. So this machine is great, like I said, just like the Torq X, for any kind of beginner, intermediate, or professional level polisher. So if you find yourself working on a vehicle, maybe for longer periods amount of time, then having a longer handle machine and an ergonomic handle on the head is definitely gonna benefit you a lot more as far as comfort whenever you're on those long hours of polishing. And it also has a nice digital display. So you can go ahead and turn that on, turn that off whenever you like. You have your speed settings, you can go ahead and go lower or higher, and then whenever you wanna switch it off, you just turn it on the off setting and it powers it off as you're polishing or whenever you wanna turn it off. All right, so moving forward from the 10FX, we find ourselves going into a little bit bigger of a machine. So right here we have the Torq 15DA. Now these right here relatively have the same body size. However, there's a huge difference between these 2 machines. The biggest difference is the millimeter throw. Now, whenever you're using these DA polishers, they kind of rotate in an axis where they oscillate and spin at the same time. The 15DA actually spins in a much larger axis than the 10FX and the Torq X. Now, these 2 right here utilize an 8mm throw, whereas the Torq 15DA, as you guys can probably guess, has a 15mm throw. So this right here has almost twice the throw, which means that you're gonna be covering a lot more surface area per run. Whenever I refer to run, that means pretty much when you're going left and right and up and down. This right here is gonna go ahead and reach further, which means that you're gonna cover more surface area with 1 pass and have to do less passes whenever you're working on a larger vehicle or even the same size vehicle. It's gonna definitely cut your polishing and time in half. The 15DA does come with a 5-inch backing plate, making it the most versatile to use whenever you're working on most surfaces on your vehicle. You know, it's great because it's a medium-sized coverage, which means that it's great for large areas like hoods. It also works out great for those intricate areas such as those B-pillars and those harder to reach areas like your quarter panels, your fenders, those smaller, tighter areas. That 5-inch backing plate definitely does help out with giving you the ultimate versatility all around your ride. Now, what happens when we're faced with the larger vehicle? Now, the 15mm is great. However, if you want the ultimate coverage, then you're looking at this bad boy over here. So this right here is our Torq 22D. So as you guys can see, it's definitely a lot bigger than all these three machines. And this is because this is a big boy toy. Now this right here utilizes a 6-inch backing plate. That's right, not 5-inch, 6-inch. So 6-inch backing plate accompanied with a 21mm throw. So you have your 15DA, which has a 15mm throw, and your Torq 10FX and the X, which have an 8mm throw. So as you guys can imagine, this is almost 3 times the throw than you would compare with the other three. So this has its specific purpose, which is covering larger surfaces. So if we have a full, a full range truck with large body panels, a trailer, an RV, a boat, that's when you want to utilize a big boy like this. Now that 21mm throw is definitely going to help you out in that process because you're going to get a lot more surface coverage than you would by using a smaller machine. So that definitely helps out. And this also utilizes our digital display, so you can go ahead and check your RPMs as you go when you polish. And our last tool on the list is our Torq R. Now this one right here, unlike all the other ones that I've talked to you guys about already, this one is a rotary polisher. So how is it different? The rotary polisher spins on one axis, so all it does is go clockwise. Whereas these, like I mentioned, they go in 2 actions, which oscillates and spins at the same time. Now, the biggest thing that I'm kind of like getting to is that these are 2 completely different machines. Now, the DA is great because, it has an oscillating motion, which means that if you put down too much pressure on the surface, it'll actually just oscillate, which means that it's just gonna be like in place, just kind of like vibrating, which in other words means that you're not gonna be building up heat because it's not gonna be spinning and you're not gonna burn your paint. So with the DA polisher, it's very hard in order to damage your paint just because of the motion that it has and because of those safety features that it incorporates. So with the rotary, this tool is great for heavy cutting. So if you have a vehicle that has heavy defects, heavy scratches, heavy swirls, heavy oxidation, or maybe you did any kind of wet sanding, then the Torq rotary is what you're gonna want in your arsenal to get rid of those heavy imperfections. The Torq R, the rotary, it spins in one direction and it keeps on spinning. So with this one right here, if you put too much pressure down, it'll keep on spinning. That's why we don't recommend applying pressure on a rotary, because the motion that it has already is already great enough to give you the cut that you need. So one of the most popular kind of sayings that we have here in the detail garage is that the rotary kind of cuts as a scalpel versus a DA, which kind of cuts more as a butter knife. So as you guys can imagine, it's a very big difference as far as like how much they cut and the speed that they cut in, but they both have their place when it comes to the polishing process. You don't have to choose one or the other. If you ever want to become a super professional detailer, it's always great to have both of these machines in your arsenal. Reason for it is because you're going to be having cars that are extremely neglected, which you're going to want to have a rotary polisher on hand to be used for, to remove those heavy imperfections quick and easy. And then for your newer cars that are more maintained, maybe they're not so bad, you can use a DA polisher to remove lighter to moderate imperfections quickly and easily and at your own pace. And you can also use it to apply your favorite Chemical Guys glazes, sealants, and waxes with ease. All right guys, speed recap. Torq X, you're a brand new level polisher, or maybe you're an intermediate, you're barely starting off, you have a small car, you have a medium-sized car, this machine is perfect for you. Torq 10FX, you find yourself polishing more often, maybe you're doing it as a business and you want to have a more comfortable machine. The Torq 10FX is great because it has the digital display. You have that ergonomic handle that definitely comes into play whenever you're on those longer periods of polishing. Torq 15DA, your intermediate level or professional level polishers looking to step up their game. This has a 15mm throw, so that definitely covers a lot more surface coverage to get you the job done in half the time. Torq 22D utilizes a 21mm throw, which is great for those larger areas. So if you find yourself polishing a boat, an RV, or maybe you just have a freaking huge truck, this is what you want to cover that large surface area. Heavy imperfections, scratches, swirls, oxidation, your paint hasn't been polished in years, rotary, that's where it's at. You need that heavy duty cutting power, Torq R is what you want in your arsenal. All right guys, and that pretty much wraps it up for the machines. I try to keep it as short and sweet as I can, but I'm a talking machine, so I can talk all day about this. So I'm gonna try to just kind of conclude with that. However, if you guys do want to learn more about the compounds and the polishes and stuff like that, make sure to comment down below and we can definitely make those videos for you guys. But for now, that's gonna conclude this video. If you guys like this video, make sure to give us a like. If you guys know which polisher that you're gonna get, make sure to comment down below. You can always pick it up on our website as well, chemicalguys.com, or visit your local detail garage location. My name is Joey. This is Chemical Guys Detail Garage. We'll see you guys next time.